What up, people? Coach V, New Breed Boxing. Adrenaline dump. What is it? What are the causes, symptoms, effects, and more importantly, how can you control it or avoid it? So, an adrenaline dump is basically when your fight or flight system goes into overdrive and you have a release of basically most of your adrenaline all in one shot. And there are several bad side effects that can follow, such as tunnel vision, auditory exclusion, which means you can't hear shit, which is actually a good thing if it's done selectively, meaning you want to be able to subconsciously hear your coach, but consciously block out the crowd. But auditory exclusion across the board, meaning you don't hear nothing, that's not good, because then you're kind of like lost in the sea, and you don't want that. So you want to make sure you can still hear your coach. And you can work on that during sparring, making sure that you can still only hear him and not any of the other noises going on. Shortness of breath, regardless of your fitness level. Lightheadedness, dizziness, loss of hand-eye coordination, basically loss of your mental cognition. And you definitely don't want to lose your mental cognition or have any lapses in attention when you're in a striking sport. This goes for all combat sports, but especially in boxing because it's the fastest paced striking sport. And in the blink of an eye, the whole fight can be over if you have any distractions or lapses in attention. And this is something that can strike anyone. Not only, it usually happens either a little before the fight, meaning in the warm-up or during the ring walk, or even, the build-ups to the introduction. I've noticed this is what happens mostly to new guys. Just the pressure gets overwhelming and it gets the best of them, and this downward spiral kicks in. But also it can happen at any stage in your career. Perfect example, I just saw an amateur superstar get his ass handed to him by a horrible journeyman pro fighter. On paper, this amateur superstar made his pro debut in his hometown. Should have ran through this guy in the first round on paper, based on what the matchmakers probably saw. Started out great, looked good. This kid probably had 1,000 fights between his amateur career and his sparring in the gym. And just a couple changes in the conditions. He even said it after the fight. Smaller gloves, no headgear, the hometown pressure. And the fact, more importantly, that he dropped this dude. He almost knocked him out in the first 30 seconds and dropped him. Ran to the ropes, thought he had the fight over. This dude got back up, fought his ass off for the next 3 rounds. And in my opinion, won all 3 rounds because you could see it in the kid's face. As soon as that guy got back up, he looked like shocked and it just threw him off. And it was just it was a downward spiral from there on out. But anyway, there are a few things that you can do to control this. So number one, once you know you have a fight coming up, because here's the deal, stress inoculation, meaning slowly exposing yourself in small doses to all the new circumstances and things that might go wrong, are going to be extremely helpful in conditioning yourself to get used to this. So mentally visualizing the scenario that you want to happen the most, the optimal outcome, you winning, of course, and you doing great, but also visualizing, not focusing on too much, but being aware of and visualizing the variables that can come into play that can cause you to be a little thrown off, and what your contingency plans are going to be. So you want to visualize all this, okay? But mainly focusing on how you're going to win. Then having, you want to start doing this again. As soon as you know you have the fight coming up, start doing this, or the sparring session, whatever the case may be for you new guys. Then once you start getting into the actual fight itself, once you get to the arena, your pre-fight routine, you're stretching out, you're warming up, your pad work before you're going out. You want to create as many whatever rituals. Some people like to tie and untie their shoes twice, whatever. Everybody's got weird little things they do, little rituals. That'll create a sense of familiarity in an unfamiliar environment, and that will definitely help keep you just I'm not gonna say comfortable, but it'll kind of keep you focused and kind of, like I said, keep you mentally on the same page consistently throughout the process leading up to the actual fight itself. And most importantly, I think the thing that's going to be able to sustain you throughout the entire situation is going to be your breathing. And this is something a lot of guys, they don't really go into too much, but you got to know how to breathe. You should only be breathing in and out through your nose, straight, deep diaphragmatic breaths to the bottom of your stomach, basically. Not these short, shallow chest breaths. You know what I mean? Your breathing has to be, beneficial. These chest breaths through your mouth, they don't do nothing for you. They don't really, put as much oxygen in your blood. There's no benefit to it. And that's going to control the release of the adrenaline if you do it the right way, combined with all the other things that I mentioned, to where the adrenaline comes out as you need it in small doses. Because again, if you have that big adrenaline dump all in one shot, it's just gonna cause a downward spiral, like they say, the speeding train. Once you get on it, it's kind of hard to get off. So you got to identify that. If you feel yourself losing, getting out of sync with your normal way of doing things, you got to catch your breath and just regroup and re-engage and get back on track and stick to your game plan and make sure you're doing everything, everything you planned on doing, and being ready to adapt while the game is in place, so to speak. Kids going crazy upstairs. But anyway, that's my take on it. Hope you found this informative. Like, subscribe, comment, share, and put your experiences in there as well, man. And don't forget to hit me up on Instagram, coach.v_. Anyway, hope you found this informative. Till the next time, we up out of here. Out.